dancing to that song. I know I say it every time, but I do love that song. And I can see Tenya right now. And so her and I were like, da, 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 da. Okay, y'all, this is going to be a really exciting talk and really fun and informative too, because today I want to really paint the picture for you of what it can look like to truly make teaching fitness, leading these transformational programs, leading your workouts, to take that and make it into a real business that supports you and allows you to have a career while living your life. You guys, so many of us are just, oh, I know what I did for 20 years. I worked full time, full friggin' time. And then I went to the gym after work or before work and I taught classes and I had kids at home. And that does not work for a lot of us. So Tenya is such a beautiful example of how you can take this and make it into something that not only serves your clients, but serves you and your family. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And I want to hear from you guys in the comments. Who is excited to hear about this? Who really wants to make this into something that serves them, not just where you feel like you're just a slave to your job, but your job is working for you. Your career is working for you. I want to hear all about it. So, y'all, today, let me just say this before we get started. This is the Fit Pros business show for professional fitness and health coaches. I'm Kelly Coulter. I led a dual career in fitness and in marketing for 20 years. And since then, I've helped thousands of Fit Pros bootstrap their businesses quickly without all the drama while creating profit from day one. And you're going to be hearing from Tenya on exactly how we did that with her business. My mission is simple. As pros, I believe we all have a unique mix of experiences, expertise, and personality that makes us perfect to serve our own specific audience. So, my mission is to help you find and serve that audience. I want you to get to serve the clients that you really love while making real money. And that's why I give you this step-by-step method on how to get your first clients and your next clients right now. So this show is where I empower you by teaching you the tools and skills that give you the choices in your career. Okay, so now are you ready to make more impact? Let's get started. Hello, my friend.
Aloha.
So, for those of you guys who are not aware, Tenya is in Maui. And look at that beautiful view behind her.
Yeah, it's another beautiful day, as always.
Oh, I love it. Gorgeous. Thank you for sharing your view with us today.
Absolutely, anytime.
So, the reason you and I kind of brainstormed on this session and said, hey, we really need to do this was really because so many of the Grow Your Fitness business group members and so many of the people that I work with really want to be able to leave a full-time job, first of all, and they want to be able to be with the kids, have the family, and have the income. And y'all, I just want to throw this in before Tenya starts talking. We should be able to do that. We are skilled professionals. So many of
Absolutely.
us have just taken to accepting 20, 30, maybe even $40 an hour, but that's not going to get you where you really want to be in terms of being home with the kids, in terms of making this into a real business. So
And we're talking
let's
$20,
talk.
$30 an hour from 30 years ago, even. Nothing's changed.
Oh my gosh, pay has gone down since the 90s. When I survey this group and I hear about the national kind of averages just based on the 8,500 instructors and trainers in our group, that pay has gone down. Now, there are ways to make your pay go up, and you know, there are different things, but you have to do extra things. You have to
That's
do extra
right.
things and you have to do sales. So what we're talking about is the idea that we're all skilled professionals. We go out there, we do public speaking every day in a leotard. We keep our bodies fit. We keep our certifications up. We are sweating our butts off with our clients, and we care about them. We want them to succeed, and we want to make impacts in people's lives. It is okay to want to be well compensated for that.
Finally. And this is why we all get into this industry in the first place, is because we want to make that impact, and we have that loving kindness inside of us and want to share that.
Amen. Amen. That I find that so much, because as I have conversations over and over and over again with fitness professionals, I just find that when I say, like, you could make six figures, that doesn't resonate with them. But
they're not used to that. They're not used to ever hearing that. They're used to making the 20,
want
30,
to impact lives, and they can get that. And that's why they came into the business in the first place.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So tell us this, where were you when you first came into the orbit of Kelly Coulter coaching? I think one of our first interactions together was you taking the boot camp, which is now called the Good Start, by the way.
Right, that's right. And it was actually during my kids' fall break, and we were on like a staycation, so it was the worst timing for me, as far as that's concerned. But I would put the headset on when I was sitting by the pool, and whatever, and I didn't get to like listen to all of it, but whatever you were saying was really resonating with me. And it was like a light bulb went off, and I was like, boom, this is me. This is what I need to do. I've been in the fitness industry and dance and yoga industry for 34 years, since 1988. So I knew that I personally needed to make a change, and I wanted to reach out to more. My goal was to reach out to more, serve more, earn more, teach less. So that was my plan. After teaching, I've done the whole, teaching hour after hour classes and clients, and, running around, and, I just knew I needed to change.
I love that statement, serve more and teach less classes. I'm going to make that the tagline.
Make more of an impact without burnout. I hear a lot of instructor burnout. I want to do this the rest of my life. And so that, was the big thing for me, is I wanted to earn more to be able to support my family. And I have a growing family now. Earn more, serve more, make more of an impact, and work on my business and not in my business. That was a big thing. I didn't realize I'd been working in my business so that I've been in the industry for 34 years. So for 32 years, I've been working in my business.
That is so good. And you're hitting on so many of the things that we work on in the accelerator. And one of them is that when you keep on adding classes in order to try to make more income, all you're doing is working in your business. And that is a recipe for just trading time for dollars over and over again.
Trading time for money. I was trading time for money. And that's what I see a lot of instructors still doing, trading time for money. And it pains me, actually. It pains me to hear, because I know it's not, it's not going to happen for the long term. You're going to eventually get burnout, or, just feel, that you're not getting anywhere. It's just like that hamster, spinning wheel and the hamster. I was on it.
Yeah. So tell me what you were teaching and what you were making. And then, tell me that.
Well, I was, is this before COVID or?
Well, let's just talk about like when you came into the accelerator.
When I came into the accelerator, we were already into COVID, and I had thrown myself into an online program, not sure what I was doing. Thankfully, I have a husband that's an IT specialist, so that was the big. That was thankfully, right? I would not.
You had done the full Monty on your tech.
I knew zero about marketing, zero about technology, Zoom. I didn't know what that was. Anyway, I thought that was a show from the 70s that I used to watch. Anyway, so that's what happened. Is I was doing donation even while I was online. And Kelly used to say, what would you say?
Free is the F word.
Free is the F word, and don't even get me started on donations. Okay, so then that was like, for me, I was like, oh no, I was so embarrassed to tell you that I was doing donations still.
Oh
But I was
gosh, we
teaching,
all were though. We all did.
and as a yoga teacher, I think, that's one of the things is like you were supposed to serve everyone and be yogi and, not earn money and live very simply, but that's not the real world. I mean, I
What
live in
is it
Hawaii.
about yoga that people think yoga is supposed to be free? Yoga
Yeah.
is a premium service and a premium offering. I mean, a yoga certification costs thousands of dollars, and for some
Yes,
reason, there's some idea that is perpetuated out there
I
that
know.
yoga should be free.
And you probably don't know this, but years ago, my husband was really supportive because we've been together for ages. But one year he was really supportive because I said, I'm feeling like I don't want to teach aerobics and step aerobics. We actually met in a step class. I don't know if you know that.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
We
I
met
love
in
it.
a step aerobics class in 1999, and we were living in London. And I was doing private training, and I was running a gym. I was running the group exercise program at a gym. You probably didn't know that either. So that was back in 99. And I just looked at him one day and I said, you know what, I really want to teach yoga. And so he basically supported me through that journey. And I took a year off and I traveled the world studying with the top yogis all over. I'm talking India, Australia, you name it. And I went. And you probably didn't know that, did you?
That's what I love about you, though. You're such an adventurer. You were telling me the other day about some of the yogis that you've studied with, and I was like, what? What? Oh my gosh, yes.
So
Amazing background.
yeah, but I think what I want to let everybody know is that you don't have to have all these certifications and experience in order to make the money that you deserve now, if that
Yes.
makes sense. I mean, I've been in this industry a really long time. Yes, I've traveled and taught yoga retreats all over the world and all that, but if you have the right tools and the right community and the right connection and you're learning the right skills from the right person, you can do this as well.
Mm. I love it. I love it. Okay, so when COVID happened, you came into the boot camp, you were taking donations, it was
Yes.
equaling out to, just that regular level of instructor pay, somewhere between 20 and $50 every time you stepped on your mat.
Sometimes more, sometimes less. You just never know because you remember, I was taking money for whoever showed up.
Yes.
And I wasn't videotaping them, streaming for later so they could, buy a video membership
You weren't
or whatever.
you weren't taking advantage of any kind of video, the longevity of having a video that can be used multiple times, and you weren't taking advantage of you weren't getting them to, yes, thank you.
Where I know that they're coming in and whether they show up or not, or whether they do it later or not, doesn't matter. I'm still getting paid. So that was the big thing there, right?
So tell us what your business looks like now.
So now I never have to, have that stress of who's going to show up and, what they're going to pay. Right. I have a subscription now that once I started working with you and you started coaching me, the first thing I did was I turned everybody over to subscription. I don't want to give away all your secrets all in one time, but
you were so scared though. One of the big things was like coming up with that script and that plan, because it's like, it's one thing to have the idea, I know I need to make them into subscription, but so many people get stuck right there because they get held back by the fear, the what ifs. They think everybody's going to leave them. What if they do leave them? Like, what's the plan B? And they have none of that stuff.
You have to change your mindset. And I think that was so key is I would listen to all your mindset talks. And honestly, that's what changed for me, is that I changed my relationship to asking for money from my clients. Mm-hmm. That was a big thing. That was really hard for me to ask for money. Mm-hmm. I guess also with the yoga stigma and everything as well. Like, why is this yoga teacher trying to get money from me, kind of thing?
The yoga stigma. I remember that that you were really worried because you kept on saying, I'm on a small island, that we've been hit so hard by COVID. How can I possibly ask these people for money? And we had to really rewire the way you were thinking about your audience too. Like,
That's
hey,
right.
if you've got people on the small island that can't afford it and you still want to serve them, it's okay to scholarship them or grandfather them in. But your audience is global and you can attract people who can pay and want to pay because you change freaking lives. We're not talking about like taking somebody's head off for a service.
I have so many people that have come back to me now and said, thank you for putting this program on, especially during COVID. It's really what got me through. There's a woman in particular I can think of in Virginia, and she just was like, thank you. She was like locked in her house. She was so depressed. And she's like, just having the view and then me coming in there and just being connected with her. She said, it just really mattered. It got her through. And I'm hearing a lot of that now. Mm-hmm. She's just one in particular, but I think that's something to think about is there were people here that actually had the money for one. So it's just changing my mindset, and others that, the little money they did have, they wanted to put it towards something like this because they knew how important it was for their mental health and well-being during this pandemic. And what happened in the beginning is I was teaching morning and evening. I was doing sunrise yoga, sunset classes every single day. So remember, I'm teaching a ton, whether they're showing up or not. And I was just,
you're getting like a couple people a class
or whatever, right? You just never knew who was going to show up. Mm-hmm. And that was really, that was important for me to give back as well. But at the same time, it was the beginnings of this online business, where if you asked me like 3 years ago, if would I ever go online, I would just been like, what? No way. I don't even know what that is, kind of thing. I never watched videos myself. So, it's just interesting. It's just changing your mindset and knowing that if you have the passion and the will and the drive and the motivation, and if you have the support, this is really key. Have the support, you can do it.
I love that you said that because, you guys know, if you've taken the boot camp, the Kickstart from me, I talk about it at the end. Here's what my program is like. But even if you don't take my program, get in a coaching program because you have to have support, especially before you've made $100,000.
Well, I never had a coach before.
Just struggle.
But I never had a coach before, and I never thought I could afford a coach, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. So here I am, and I paid back to you my coaching, agreement quickly because I started earning triple the amount, which was just incredible, just from learning the tools and having the support and having that community. And it's only going to go up from here, because I'm just learning and growing and evolving. And so is it my business, and so are my students. And so that is really important, is also to enjoy the process.
Ooh, that's a good one. Yes, so true. Okay, so we talked about where you started when you first came in. I've got kind of like 4 little stages that I wanted to take you through. The most beneficial thing you've learned.
The most beneficial?
Yeah.
The most beneficial thing that I've learned. Well, DMing. And some of you that might be watching have had some DMs from me.
I agree. So not only does Tenya build her business by creating personal relationships through direct messages and text messages and phone calls and all the different things, she's learned that skill that you have to go granular before you can go wide. And so she dug in granularly really early in her business, and that's what exploded that income right away. But then she also helps me to follow up with group members, to follow up with people who are taking the Kickstart from me. And so you very likely have gotten a direct message from her. And if you don't think you have, check your message requests because it may be in there, and it's her, Tenya Maui. And she just helps me have those conversations. We're out there checking on you guys, making sure that you've been able to utilize the resources. Something that I know you have a lot to say about this. I want to dig in on one thing that I'm just really noticing lately.
Okay.
And that is that, like, it's one thing to create content. You know, I'm out there all the time creating so much content, but truly you need to pick out the pieces of the content that are the most impactful, and you need to go to every single person and make sure that they've seen it. This is going to help you, or you need to be having the conversations with your people, find out exactly what they're struggling with right now, and direct them back to these pieces of content that you've made. And that's what we do is we go to all the people in the group all the time and we say, okay, what are you working on? What are you struggling with? How can we help? Whether or not you ever come into my paid program, I want you to have gotten everything you can get out of the free resources.
And that's so there's a lot of fitness professionals that are on this platform. I mean, you have what, 8.2 or 3,000?
Oh, we're going on 8,500 quickly.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing. And so there are some that are just starting out. There are some that are, been teaching for years, but you all have a database or a database. We use in England, database. Progress. That's what we say. I used to live in London, by the way. So anyway, that you can reach out to. So even if you're just starting out, you can reach out to your closest friends and family. I have a friends and family membership on my subscription. So there's somebody you can reach out to. That you have this passion and this desire to make an impact, and to, really, we're here to change the world, especially with mental health and wellness, not just the physical, right? This is a big thing.
100%. When I think about my vision for this company and for what I do, that's what I envision. I envision us as an army of people, of individual fitness professionals who, because you guys each have your own unique reach and your own unique experience and education. When I say that in the beginning of the show, I'm serious. I want you guys to be able to reach out in your tentacles and get to your exact right audience. And then with that, I love the flower, by the way. But with that, that's how we're going to change the world. It's individual fit pro to our own unique audience.
And it's only growing. That's the thing. This is the time now. This is more than ever that we can make this impact. We've just come through this pandemic. People need us more than ever.
And so that's why I dig in on messaging individual to individual. That's why I dig in on what is your audience list, and then how do you message to them? And you guys, if you're unsure if you could ever really go and have that conversation with individual people, take the business kickstart, because in there we have scripts and I tell you exactly how to start those conversations, and it is not uncomfortable.
Yeah, and you just have to keep practicing, and definitely the business kickstart is a good place to start, and it definitely takes practice, and it will come quicker than you ever imagined as well.
Okay, so I have a fun next question for you.
Okay.
What is your favorite thing about your life now?
Well, that I can work my own hours. And have a lot more freedom, a lot more. I have 3 children now, and I just recently adopted another child as my friend passed away, and I was able to continually make and earn income while I was, busy dealing with the death in the family, taking on a new child, anything that's going on in my life. I know that I can keep earning money. So that for me, that freedom, the freedom to be able to spend more time with my children. And
I love it. And I want to just compliment you and say that yes, in the last few months, your life has completely transformed. You knew for a while that you were going to be taking custody of another child, but you were able to take just the time that you needed, but still keep your business running. And you just did it all with such grace.
Oh, thank you. That's never happened to me before, where I was able to take time off and still earn the same income. I mean, for me, that I could never have imagined, because I was always self-employed. So if I wasn't working, I didn't earn the income.
It was
And
always $20
yeah,
for a class, $20 for a class, or 30
or
bucks for a
donation or
class.
whatever. And so that for me to be able to take time off for whatever, for grieving, for a holiday with the family, that is major as somebody that's self-employed. So I guess, what did you say? What was the actual question again? Sorry.
Well, what's your favorite thing about your life now?
That's a big favorite part of my life is the freedom. The
Mm-hmm.
freedom to be able to own my own business and to give myself the space when I need it and the time for my family when I need to without, the stress of knowing where the next paycheck's coming or whatever. So that, I think that's, yeah. It's not a bad place to live on Maui, by the way, either.
I can't wait to come visit you. That is
I know.
happening soon this year.
You have to come on the deepest, darkest day in winter. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Because it'll be nice and sunny here mostly. Yeah.
All right. And so let's talk a little bit. We already kind of said it, but Tenya also helps me message everybody during the Kickstart. So I wanted to talk about your involvement with the business Kickstart and how that works so that everybody knows who you are. One of the reasons that we had wanted to do this show was to introduce her and say, hey, if you get a message from Tenya, it's not some crazy person. It's not somebody trying to spam you or fish you. It is actually Tenya who works with me. Making sure that we get everybody taken care of. And I think that we said all that. But the one piece that we maybe didn't say was that during the Fitness Business Kickstart, you're especially active in answering questions and getting out there and DMing people.
And to be honest with you, I enjoy it every time. Mm-hmm. And I learn something new every time with the business Kickstart as well. Even if it's just one thing, but that resonates. And, I love connecting with other fitness professionals and, being able to support their journeys. I also teach other, higher level classes and teacher trainings. Mm-hmm. And so I do enjoy that part of assisting you and hearing where the struggle is because, I feel like you do have the answers and I can be there as someone that's actually doing it.
Tenya, that's something I hadn't thought to ask you about. But do you have any teacher trainings or any opportunities to work with you for instructors coming up?
Not at this very moment, but yes, in the future. Okay. I do want to mention that because we were talking about income and everything, because I'm sorry, but we're going back to the DMing. Yeah, because I was getting better at DMing. I was, when I would host an event in the past, I would probably be happy if I made $100. That was always kind of my thing. $100. Okay, great. And the last few events that I would have that I've had recently were about $500-$600. Mm-hmm. So that just shows you, because when we were asking about money and everything. So yeah.
I love that. Let's jam on that for a second. So when she says DMing, she's talking about direct messaging. And the tool, you guys, direct messaging gets a bad rap, and I get it because we've all gotten the direct message from the shirtless personal trainer who is so invasive and is asking you all kinds of unwelcome questions. And we've all gotten the direct message from the thirsty messenger who's trying to make you their best friend and sell you their MLM opportunity. And I get that both of those are bad looks, and we do not do any of that. But we do use direct messaging as a tool. It's not the only tool in the tool belt, but we do use it to start relationships with the right people. And what that means is that, you've got a list of people who are your possible audience, and you're going to check in with them, and you're going to find out who you vibe with, who might be right for your program, who needs your program right now, and how can you help them? And that's how we use it as servant leaders.
DMing has really,
and so what Tenya has done with a couple of her marketing events is even when she hasn't been able to go out and do a lot of intense marketing ahead of the event, she was still able to just go in and take that list and say, hey, I just want to let you know this is happening. And because these are her people and she's welcome to message them and they're happy to hear from her, they're like, okay, thanks. And they're going in and registering. And so now instead of making $100 for an event, she's making $600.
And I don't have 50,000 followers on Instagram, by the way. I might have about 900.
You're a
That's
true
the thing.
testament to the fact that a small audience is easier to activate than a big one, which I always say.
Quality over quantity.
Yes. Yeah. There are so many influencers out there who have 500,000, a million, a couple million followers and are not making any
Making
money.
money.
And
I
if you don't
know.
believe me, just look up all these influencers who launch clothing lines and then it fails because nobody buys.
So be
Because
careful of the imposter syndrome, right?
yeah, totally. There's
Yeah.
a
So
totally different thing to having an audience that is your people and buys from you or just having an audience.
that's right. But back to the business Kickstart. I love being part of it and helping support the journey and being available. And that's another thing is I'm there during the time to be available to answer questions from you, whether it's a DM or even on a video,
Yep.
on a
Yeah.
call.
Oh yeah, you get on Zoom calls with people. I had to tell her to peel it back because she used to get on hours and hours of video calls with people and she would just be coaching them.
Well, the
And I was like,
struggle
we
is
need you.
real.
We have more people that need you.
Yep.
You're a servant leader.
I'm loving it, enjoying the process.
Tenya, thank you so much for doing this. You guys, feel free to check your message request, see if you've got a message from her. If not, she's available. If you want to message her, if you've got follow-up questions, if you want to leave them in the comments, we will see them and we'll answer your questions. So just want to.
Yeah, I just love being part of this community. It's been life-changing. And thank you, Kelly, for coming into my life.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
all
you
your
for showing up
support.
and doing the work.
All the support and all the love. It's there.
Yes. All right. I'm going to bring you down off the screen, but I love you and thank you so much for doing this.
Hang loose, everyone.
We'll see you soon in the Kickstart.
Aloha.
All right, you guys. So that was Tenya. We've introduced her now. You've heard some about her business. You've heard some about her journey in the accelerator. And now you know who she is if you do have a message request from her. Also, if you are taking part in the Fitness Business Kickstart, she helps me make sure all the questions are answered. So we will be sending you messages and we will be making sure that you've gotten everything you can possibly get out of that experience. So you guys, let me just say this. If you don't know what the Fitness Business Kickstart is, it is a 2-day conference style training where I come in, I teach for hours and hours. I used to do it over a week. We're doing it in 2 days this time. I'm going to have special guest speakers. We're going to make sure that you've got your offer together. First of all, we're going to talk about pricing. Make sure you are comfortable and confident in your price. We're going to talk about marketing. We're going to talk about how to sell without feeling salesy or slimy or without feeling like a pest. We are going to talk about corporate partnerships. How do you create them? How do you take advantage of them? How do you build a wellness program? We're going to talk about other formats. We're going to get a Cheer One fitness demo. And then one of the coolest things that we're going to be doing in this 2-day experience this time is we are going to do a shamanic healing session. You guys have heard me talk about shamanic in the past. It's something that I just think is really amazing. And I was envisioning something that would really get you guys out of your comfort zone and get you to break through some of your upper limit blocks and some of your money blocks. So I've asked Stephanie Filardi to come in and she's going to lead us through a shamanic journey, which is roughly similar to a meditation. And everybody experiences something different, but what you find is these little things that are deep down in your mind that you aren't recognizing, and they come up and you go, oh my gosh, I never knew. I didn't realize. So I think I've told you guys the story. One of the first times that I did it, she was leading me through, and all of a sudden I was remembering this thing that happened to me in high school that I hadn't thought about in 30 years. And it turns out that thing was so foundational in how I made decisions every day, but I never even considered it because I wasn't looking at it. So it's that kind of thing. It'll get you out of your comfort zone. You're going to experience something new about yourself in so many ways, not just because of the shamanic journey, but also because of the foundational learning that we are going to do during those 2 days. So that's going to happen May 14th and 15th. And you go to fitprosconnect.com/kickstart. It's right at the bottom left of this screen, fitprosconnect.com/kickstart. Y'all, you're going to put a $67 registration deposit down. And what that means is that as long as you show up and you do the work, you get a full refund at the end. So you're going to put that down as a deposit, and I do that to make sure that you show up, because the value of free on the internet has gone down so much, and there are so many times that we sign up for free stuff and then we don't value it and we don't show up. I want you to show up, and I want you to get the learning out of this experience. So as long as you show up, you are eligible to get a refund. If you don't show up, I'm keeping your money. So get there, get registered, fitprosconnect.com/kickstart, May 14th and 15th. Everything will be recorded and broadcast into a private pop-up Facebook group, and you will have access to those recordings for the next 5 days until May 19th. So you will have time to catch up on anything that you missed during that 2-day experience. All right. I want everybody watching to get over there and get registered. Let's do that now. So I've got a good head count. Don't wait till the last minute. Y'all, thank you so much for joining me for this session. I had so much fun talking to Tenya with you guys. If you do have questions, leave them in the comments. I would love to hear what you think. Please comment and contribute to the conversation. If you are watching on YouTube, I would love for you to like and subscribe. And if you're watching on Facebook, make sure you're in the Grow Your Fitness Business for Instructors, Trainers, and Coaches group. That's where we network, support, and train. That's my primary audience, and I can't wait to support you there. But no matter if you're watching or listening, I have a favor to ask. So your payment for this free show, for this free information that I give every week, is that you share this show with your friends. If you go to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Spotify, you can share this episode and this show easily with your friends, or you can share it from YouTube or from LinkedIn or from Facebook. All right, you guys, this Thursday on Instagram, we're going to be talking with Ann Gilbert, and we're going to be talking about the word failure. We're going to talk about failing forward. So that's going to be a really important topic. I can't wait to see you there. That's at 3 p.m. on Instagram on the Grow Your Fitness Biz profile. That'll be Instagram Live. All right. Thanks so much for joining me, and I will see you on Insta on Thursday, y'all.